First of all, I want to thank you for being part of this program and contributing to this garden internship mentorship program through your wonderful hard work and expertise. Hi everyone, जो हैं हमारे साथ, she's इनके बारे में जो reputation वो कहलाती है, she's the most hard-working person, graduated from Indus Valley School of Architecture, and she has been heading one of the top architectural practices of Pakistan, Arshad Shahid Abdulla. She now heads that department of interior design specifically. For the past 16 years, she's also represented Pakistan at ARCASIA in their youth program. She also serves IAP, has been serving IAP in various capacities, and she's also the convener of the Design Excellence Awards of IAP, and she's doing a brilliant job of that. Thank you for being there with us. I'll just give the podium mic to you. And
I'd like to thank you, Murad Saab, for inviting me to this session. It's a fantastic thing that you're doing that I've just learned about very recently, giving these students an opportunity, and apparently this has been going on for quite a long time. I'm a little embarrassed when it comes to talking about myself because I prefer staying behind the scenes. I will, however, just give you a short trailer into what I have been doing in my 16 plus years as an architect and where my career has taken me to all the other fields, the organizations, etc. that I have been a part of. Into me, my architectural career, why I took it, where I started it, and what led me to it. So Bisma through the looking glass. This is Wonderland we've all, I don't know if you all have heard about Alice in Wonderland or not, but as children we really heard about Alice in Wonderland, how she explored spaces, how she walked through spaces, and even her imagination, where all it took her. And that's one of the things that started my, interest in spatial quality, in spatial experiences, and how those spaces are formed. I was intrigued by all of these things. This added on with, of course, when you all children we played with Barbies, but maybe you all haven't really all heard about Barbies right now. But this, along with Alice in Wonderland, along with Barbie, and how they have these structures, these spaces, these living spaces, figure who is transforming herself, teleporting herself all throughout these spaces, living, really intrigued me in how spaces are developed. And this is what I'm talking about, very tender age of between 3 to 5, and it really interested me how I had in fact this Barbie home office and this Barbie townhouse, which when I used to put together and assemble, I would be interested about how things would come together, how these spaces would transform. I in fact took this Barbie townhouse of mine and transformed it and started doing interior design within it, not interior design at that time, but some kind of design, how I wanted the space to look and feel. So I would, look at spaces in that realm. Then another reason why I moved towards architecture was because I had I felt my brain was perfectly balanced between the right and the left. When you say right and left, yes, I had my interest in the very specific, detail-oriented, mathematical features, etc. and all, constantly looking at numbers, calculations, doing all of that. Then there was another side of me that was interested in art. I looked at spaces, I looked at how things would be created. I loved participating in art competitions both locally and internationally. And that balance between the two, of the right and the left, the creative mind and the very strategic, calculating mind, gave me that idea at a very young age, at the age of 12, that I wanted to do architecture, that I wanted to study architecture. My sister, who was 5 years my senior, at that point did not even know what she wanted to study. But I had a very clear vision as to architecture was where I wanted to be, where I needed to further enhance myself, because that's just how I felt my brain function. Another factor that really influenced me and why I wanted to become an architect was what I came across in Karachi, the buildings, structure, the history. There's a sense of culture, history that pushed me and nudged me to further look at these things as well. Of course, Prayer Hall, one of the buildings, one of the structures in Karachi, which is recognized by all. Prayer Hall is literally my neighborhood park. Empress Market, this was right adjacent to my school in Qatar. I know you people all haven't seen these places, but hopefully when you visit Karachi, you do get to see them. But they have a different kind of thing. The respect of Karachi is a certain degree. Yes, these are all colonial parts of Karachi, but they do play a vital role. Whether it's the churches, the Flagstaff House, KBT, Karachi in general, how the old and the new come together. This was something that was constantly interesting me, keeping me intrigued with architecture as I kept on developing my interest with it. Another place, my school, another heritage building. This is something that also influenced me, always leading back to how these structures were built, how they are still withstanding time. And this building in itself was there in the Second World War, still withstanding time and is there. in study, my alma mater as well. Another place that influenced, of course, further honed and enhanced my interest in architecture is another true test to an architect is this building in itself was standing in a different location within Karachi, in Karachi. It was moved block, brick by brick, to another location within Karachi, one of the first in the Asian subcontinent. And it was a feat. And if that can be done within the realm of architecture through the small means and resources that we have in Pakistan as compared to other countries, then there's lots more that we can do if we put our mind to it. Again, these are again those spaces. This was one building that was designed by ESC, and then a heritage building that was added towards the front of it that encompassed the whole campus altogether. And the third institute that I feel that has really played a role in my design abilities, in my design thinking, in making me the architect that I am today is Arshad Shahid Abdulla. And what it has taught me is so many things on many different levels, not just as an architect, just to think even as a problem solver, to be sensitive to people, to be designed for. All of those factors come in under the tutelage of both Arshad Saab and Shahid Saab. I was thankfully taught by both of them while I was studying at Indus. But later, again, when I joined here and started working here, I was working with them on different projects. Some of the projects that I have worked on include Jordan City. Hopefully, you get to see it here. It's one of the first ideas of a mall that started within Pakistan, the new idea of a mall that started within Pakistan, and this was opened in 2012. Again, the spaces within it, trying to improve spatial quality for people, not just outside the building, but within the building as well. A building and a project, both architecture and interior, that I've been part of is the insurance building. This site limitation, this is in Lahore, site limitation, the site in itself was just 45 feet wide, but the building in itself was only 30 feet wide. How we worked at, how we designed that, how we designed the spaces within that as well. I know I do head the interior design department, but at times, there is no differentiation between interior and architecture. We work on all levels of projects within that. Sometimes I'll be working on facade of building as well. So this is another project in Lahore, Askari Tower. A project in Karachi, City Bank head office. This was idea of this is I did not get required because this bank had a lot of artwork that they had in their ownership, and they wanted their head office to be like a building. Hence, the walls, the things that are there within the space are used as a canvas for this artwork to be celebrated. In polymer, again, using the material, we decided to come up with elements of design that can be used within their space. It's not just for other people to use their product, but to themselves to use it to make it useful for the space. This was the brand identity that we had in place. And then we had to follow that. Then the global identity. Most of these spaces tend to have global identity, have to incorporate or follow to a certain degree. Winning IPO award-winning project of mine. Probably not. One of the biggest and one of the projects that took the longest time of my career is Khadi. All the details from 2010 to 2018, both locally and internationally, have been designed by me, which is like numerous shops and details. And I grew with the brand itself. We developed things together. We worked as a constant R&D. The fact that the client is so good and open to R&D, it really helps the project come through. These are again the same project, Khadi Card as well. And I say yes, I was a project architect on this project, and I was a design team of these projects. We constantly have a back and forth during things where Shahid Saab himself is very involved. He in fact sits right next to me, right next to my desk, and we're constantly discussing, debating, ideas and what can be done, what can't be done. As I said previously, I may be heading the interior design department, but there are some projects that I have worked on within the residences department as well. This is one of them. This is another project that I've worked on within the residences. Another one. So it's always a collaboration. It's not just one or the other. There will be overlaps. There will be overlays. This is the Roy residence that we did right before COVID started. This project ended. It's a completely different kind of construction. When I say that, it's complete metal construction, where the structure is within metal sections and the walls are EPS. So the construction time was reduced. A lot of R&D was involved in this. There was a lot of back and forth that was happening. This was one of the first time for a house. Usually people have extensions made in this way, but we've done the whole house in this manner. And you can see the whole construction process. Yes, a collaborator that really helped in this process was IIL, because they were willing to experiment with us. And more importantly, the client was willing to experiment with us, because there is a certain time that is involved in constructing houses within Pakistan. And this construction really reduced that. This is the final product of the house. If you see the staircase as well, if I just hover my mouse here, the staircase is in set, also made with metal sections. everything is related to that same metal section, and how we experimented. We didn't have a problem, even the client didn't have a problem with, exposing the metal columns, etc. And hence we painted them in a different color to enhance them. The doors in this house were all from old timber market refurbished doors. And hence there was another process involved in that as well, as to how you have to work with the insides of the door, make it work into your space. And none of the doors in the house match up, and that is the beauty of it as well. Why? Because the house itself is a canvas where these doors stand out, the artwork owned by the owners, that also stands out, and it's a royal residence, it's Shahzad's royal residence, and he's an artist here in himself. So he wanted his house to be an expression of art. So that's what we try to do. Besides this, other than commercial projects, residential projects, and all that I work on, or that the office works on, we work on numerous pro bono projects, giving back to the city, giving back to the country. And one of the projects that we have worked on is public toilets. And this was worked on, has been worked on it numerous times. And even now, we are relaunching it for the city of Karachi, where it's being constructed in numerous locations. And hence, the constant R&D that gets involved in this, as to how, when it was first made, now when it's now being made in 2024, things have changed. The availability of products has changed. So it's constant, R&D, constant change in terms of how we need to adapt ourselves, how we need to adapt our design. We can't be fixated in our design. We need to adapt to times, to adapt for better times. So that earthquake relief, again, this is something that we have been involved in. I myself was involved with ARCASIA as a student because this happened 2005, but I was a student and I was interning at that time. So I was involved, and I was interning at ARCASIA at that time. So I was involved in this process of how we were documenting, designing, restructuring of things. Again, pro bono work for the earthquake relief. Then the Honorary Foundation is a vocational training center. And again, the funds available for this are always limited. So how do we, develop design? Every problem is an opportunity we consider. And here, for example, the palm tree, the trunk of it is acting as a central support of the staircase. And how we try to incorporate basic things, and how they can be incorporated into a space to look out of the ordinary in a certain sensitivity, just incorporating nature. Again, this is the first time we started using containers, and we started using leftover glass or glazing from projects which people donated, and how this angle of this, if I remove my cursor, this angle is due to the leftover glass that we had received as a donation from someone, and how design can transform based on those parameters that we have. This is again, scraps of metal used to develop an installation, and this installation is for the namaz area, and scraps of pipe just to make the street, which is covering the namaz area. Again, all part of the Honorary Foundation, and how these spaces come together for vocational training for both men, for both boys and girls, training skill labor for different categories, whether it's an electrician, a plumber, in sewing, in healthcare facilities, etc. So we've been involved in that whole process, not just designing the structures, but also involved in developing the system. Another one of the projects involved for the city with PLC is EDR. I hope, and I'm sure you people will be visiting this. This is what it was before. This road was completely dilapidated. People could not drive over it. Nothing would happen. But this is what it has become now. It's become a pedestrian road where people can come outside and enjoy Karachi to some degree, which people are usually afraid to do because Karachi is not the safest of places at times. But we are hoping to provide, we try to provide with collaborators from the government, from different organizations. And this is another extension of the right at the end of EDR. There's a straw. It was originally called the Chayak Pro, but there were only drug addicts sitting in drugs constantly. But then we decided to, there was a competition, and number of submissions were received, and luckily our submission won. It's called Good School Shop now, and it has been developed into this, again, the space which can be used for events, for people to watch cricket matches, and screen that goes up, and projection that happens, cricket matches, football matches, different things that happen there, concerts that happen there, different events that happen. That again, giving back to the city in a certain way, giving back to society. One of my nearest and dearest projects, recent projects, is a ward at Civil Hospital. Dr. Saad Niaz, who did SIAG, which is the Institute of Advanced Endoscopy and Gastroenterology. He decided to take over one of the heritage buildings within Civil Hospital, which had been completely run down, dilapidated, closed off for the last 12 years. So much so that the keystones of the arches were collapsing, the building was falling apart. It was a rectangular building, the building was completely doing this. It was falling in every direction. So this was an adaptive reuse project that I was part of, and actually I was a project architect for this. And this is what it is now. People visited it now and they wonder, is this actually part of some hospital? Doctors who done their residency there, I recently heard about this, and the doctor who had done his residency there visited and said, I can't believe that this is part of the same hospital where I did my residency. It really feels that it's it's not within some hospital, it's an independent location. And again, this is a completely free facility for anyone from any social strata of society to come and visit and for their medical services, etc. Again, this is another way to society by working on such projects. We don't only have to work on projects that are, your money tickets, etc. We try to balance that. We try in these projects because it just gives us so much joy when you see, when you visit. And I visited it on Saturday. I wanted to see patients there in peace and how they are getting treated and, just feel comfortable, not scared, not worried. It's a pleasant space for them rather. That too when they have to go through a difficult procedure. So this is, and then a number of my projects have won, not only my projects, ASA projects have won awards. So they've won IIT Design Excellence Awards, the ADA Awards, the Julia Scholar Award. I worked on the ASA book that was recently launched a year ago. My projects have been featured in Vitra with my name. Vitra, I don't know if you know and are aware of it. It's a design brand globally. Zaha Hadid designed the Vitra firehouse. I don't know if it's cited that or not. And there are other architects who have been involved with Vitra. They've been featured in Bisma Askari as well as interior design book of Pakistan Institute of Interior Design. But my curiosity doesn't end there. So hence, as Alice said, Minister and Minister, my curiosity has always got me going and keeps me going. And I have always been involved in numerous different organizations for this field. Institute of Architects Pakistan, as Rata mentioned, Pakistan Council of Architects and Town Planners, where I have been involved as a accreditation inspector, Pakistan Institute of Interior Designers, where I have been last was there as the Honorary Secretary. The IBS Alumni Association, of course, having to give back to my own alma mater. ARCASIA and the ARCASIA Committee on Young Architects. In Israeli, I've gone back and I've been teaching there. Not only that, I've been teaching there, but I've been going into sessions similar to this and others at different universities, at conference juries, etc. This brown logo over here is this new organization which has taken me on board as an advisor. This organization works towards taking the biggest problem in Karachi, which is trash, and converting it into building material. So this is something I'm working closely with as an advisor. And recently I've been asked to head the Women in Architecture Pakistan Karachi chapter division. Very recent division about this. But I'll just talk briefly about some of these things. Again, these are some small things that I have also done and been a part of at different times. Coordinator for Sufi Festival in New York, taking Pakistani culture to New York and celebrating that, having performances by Abda Parveen and the Soul Fagis and all in New York. Rebound is an ode to Karachi during the class, and again, designers from Indus Valley, graduates from Indus Valley came together for this. And it's not just about being an architect and what you design, it's everything else that goes with it. Because if society is safe and secure, and we have all these things in place, we will be able to design for people. If the people are there, then only you will design for them. And another organization that I'm a part of is Citizens Trust Against Crime. Again, this is to fight the crime that is within Karachi, and we want to be working towards that on small scales as a neighborhood watch, but then it keeps on expanding to different areas and more areas over time. And I guess in 2007, I've been teaching there. One of the courses that I've been teaching with my friends who happens to be Arshad's niece. Is orientation, and this is a course that was taught to all foundational students. And what did it teach? It taught different aspects of city orientation, taking ownership of your city, understanding of city. Whether it's celebrating Pakistani cinema, whether it's taking street in the city and taking ownership of it and cleaning it up, or where you try to draw that balance between technology and nature, and where you want not mangrove. So the focus of this class was transversal skills. What are transversal skills? Those are where you come together with different people, where you collaborate, where it's not just about being stuck in a bubble of your fraternity, of your team. It's about cross connection and cross pollination that constantly happens. So PR skills, that's also about transversal skills. How you communicate with people, where you collaborate with them. So this class focused on that. One of the things that we used to do literally like a game, but something that got people interested within the city was mapping Karachi, where we sent them out on these scavenger hunts for different activities to do, and how they would come back, feeling really proud about the city that they would think. Then IIP, I've been involved on numerous levels, but in the Karachi chapter, I've been involved as convener for numerous IPECs, the last three being designing narratives in 2020, adaptive resilience in 2022, and designing creative journey in 2023. Other than that, I have been the Honorary Secretary of IIP as well in 2019 to 2021, and had organized numerous of these online activities during the peak of COVID. Other than that, I have also become the youngest Vice President of IIP in 2021 to 2022. Other than that, IBS Alumni Association, same times 2017, 2019, 2022. So most of these organizations that I have been a part of are all overlap. And that's something that I constantly do. Coming back to this is ARCASIA Committee on Young Architects. I won the election as the fourth chairperson in 2019, the first female chair and the second chair from Pakistan. So these are some of the things that we have worked on. The focus during my term was on some of these things: resiliency, adaptability, interdisciplinary hybridity. And some activities. Since most of this was online during COVID and otherwise, so we had numerous different activities happening. Whether it was design competitions, whether it was research assessment. Even some basic as rooting for the future. What was rooting for the future? It was planting trees within the 22 countries under the umbrella of ARCASIA. Something so simple and basic. We give it back to the ecosystem in that sense. Again, all to celebrate and develop a community. The sense of community is something that we tend to miss out at times. And my whole focus is always on that sense of community and how we can develop that. Whether there was the 40 under 40, the Asian heritage that I focused on, different collaborations constantly. And the focus was always to let's grow together, always support each other for this group. These are just snippets. Again, it involved in numerous of these sessions, as I said, online, and numerous talks representing Pakistan in different occasions, whether it was Philippines in 2020 or Bangladesh in 2019 or in Indonesia or in India, different opportunities to represent Pakistan. That's what gives me pride, the ability to represent Pakistan even in the smallest way possible, however small that may be, but to represent a positive image of what Pakistan has, to represent an image of the possibilities within Pakistan, and that we aren't far behind if we put our efforts to it. Some things that I would like to leave you all with, some words. Always observe, explore, and inquire. This is very pertinent for any architect to do so. Why? Because until you don't observe people, spaces, and you explore them or you question them, how can you ever design for them? So you have to always be on the lookout for this kind of observation, exploration, or inquiry involved in it. You have to learn to connect and collaborate with different people. It's not just about people within your fraternity. You have to expand your horizons, expand yourself. It's a constant Venn diagram. If you're just going to be in your architect's fraternity, you will never overlap or grow out of that. So you have to have a Venn diagram on different communities that you're a part of. It's smaller communities, and then that community as a whole that comes together. Learn to be adaptable. You should be open to adapting yourself, your design constantly. This is also interact with different people, not just look at the scope of how interdisciplinary your field can be, but also diversify and cross-pollinate with other fields. Sustainability to grow. This again links back to adaptability, because until you don't have that adaptability, you will not be able to grow. You need to be able to accept that even after 16 or 50 years of experience, you can constantly learn something new. This was something which Arshad told us, and he keeps on repeatedly saying this, that we all may have the same degree, but our experiences vary. So I may be able to learn from someone who's a fresh graduate, and I've also sort of embodied this, because I'm always open to learning from different perspectives, different experiences, and this is something very relevant. Resiliency and consistency. You have to be resilient. You have to be steadfast. You have to be consistent with how there may be numerous falls, there may be negative times, there may be bad times, there may be whatever. But you have to have that critical, sharp, focused vision. You need to be consistent with what you do, how you do it, because that is what takes you forward. That consistency of your hard work, your showing up every time That's what really matters. Transversal skills. I spoke about this earlier. Again, it's about constantly being open to, your enhancing your PR skills, your collaborative skills, how to develop a community, your leadership skills, your mentorship skills. All of those things matter. And last and most importantly, empathy, sensitivity, and inclusivity, not just in design, but in all kinds of collaborations and however you come together with people. And I'd like to leave you with this last comment. Sometimes it's a journey that teaches you a lot about your destination. And it's not necessarily about the destination. It's about the journey. And for me, it's always been about the journey. All the things that I have been part of, the organizations, whoever I've met, and what all I take on from there. And that's, for me, is of utmost importance. Thank you.
I frankly didn't know that you had so many sides, and I am extremely proud of you. I didn't know you had so many sides. I didn't know you were this focused. I didn't know that you've almost become a motivational speaker now. You are one of our, very frankly, an empowered women in the field at a very young age. And you, as I was about to say that you're going to go places, you're already at a very great place, alhamdulillah, at Shahid's office. And I am so happy to have made the choice of inviting you as one of the first few online speakers right after Yawar earlier this morning. And I hope our 13 interns, and mostly girls sitting here, and then this goes on to the podcast, are inspired by looking at your journey. You're teaching at Indus Valley, you're heading the department, you have such humanistic values that you just talked about, you produce some brilliant interior and architecture work. So it's just a wonderful journey Allah has blessed you with. So thank you for contributing to our program, and I'm delighted to have you with us today.